town with the NFC South on the line. Brady is coming to
I gotta move this chair.
Worst statistical game of the season, and those offensive plays are still
furniture around.
The upside, plenty of football still to be played, and Brady is so cool that really counts. It's no secret that Brady's no talented. He has a 758 percentage in his 23 career season. But as the playoffs approach and the pressure is greater, he turns up the heat even more. In December, Brady hit an 802 win percentage, best in NFL history.
What's going on, guys? How y'all doing tonight?
Today is just beautiful, and those numbers are awesome. But as we handed over to Joe and Troy,
y'all good tonight?
Consider that during his time as Bucks, his winning percentage against the Saints.
What's up, JB? How you doing? Hey, hold on for 1 second. I'm sorry.
He has so much respect for the Saints defense.
There it is.
Yeah, he does, and he should. Susie, I think the Bucks are asking a lot.
1 second.
45-year-old quarterback. I don't care if his name's Brady or whatever. They have no running game. They're last in the league. He's getting the ball out lightning fast because the interior, Troy, that offensive line, they lost their center because of a torn ACL. They had a guard leave to Cincinnati via free agency. He had another guard retire coming off the Pro Bowl, and it shows. I mean, he is getting.
What's going on, guys? How y'all doing tonight?
In his face, play after play. Well, they got to get it fixed because that has been
Anything
a
good?
problem this year. It's why this offense has looked so different. They haven't been able to run the ball as you have seen. There's just been nowhere for these guys to go. And for as long as Tom Brady has been playing,
Hey, nothing, John. How you doing, Jonathan?
It's been the interior pressure, and he's faced a lot of it because of those changes that you mentioned. They've also not been able to get the ball down the field, and the connection that
What's up tonight, guys? So, I mean, the talk of the town. What up, Julian? How you doing, brother? The talk of the town is what Anthony Davis has been doing. But before I get to that, my man Tyler got a job in Houston today. What'd you get a job doing, Tyler? Doing what? Doing what, my man? Paul George, too. So, hey, that's big time. That's all right, my man. Sounds like that's the gig you was looking for too. So, that's big time. Congratulations, brother. So the talk of the town has been, what Anthony Davis has been doing as of late, right? And I mean, I dig it. He's playing great. He isn't playing good. He's playing great. 34 and 15. Over the last 10 games, right? 34 and 15 over the last 10 games. He looks fantastic. Now, the Lakers still got work to do. The Lakers still got work to do. Now, we're talking about a team that their defense wasn't questioned before the season started. We saw them in the beginning of the season, how good they were defensively. We saw how good Lonnie Walker was. We saw how good, and we already know Anthony Davis is an all-league defender. James is still a solid defender when he applies himself. So we already saw that before the season, before we got to where we were. In the beginning of the season, we saw these guys being able to defend at a high level, right? That wasn't the issue. The problem that we had with this group early was they were playing like everybody else. Well, what do you mean they was playing like everybody else, OG? They were shooting the long ball like they were built like the Golden State Warriors. They were built like the Golden State Warriors, or they were built like the Boston Celtics, or just long ball shooting teams. And they weren't. What's up, Darrell? And they weren't built like that. That team was built to make the playoffs. But the strength of that team was Anthony Davis. They were going to go as he went, right? They were going to go as he went. So when they went as he went, they were going to be successful. The question is can he stay healthy? Do I expect this guy to be 35? Do I expect him to be 35, 34, and 15 for the duration of the season, no, I don't. I do not expect that. If I could get him to be healthy and be 27-10, 27-12, and 2 blocks, and they continue to play off of him, right? If they continue to play off of him, I think that they are. I had them picked before the season started. I had them picked as a top 6 seed. I had them right inside the play-in tournament. And I had them as a semifinals team. As of right now, they're a 12 seed, which isn't very good. I thought that they were the worst team in the league with the talent that they had. And I felt like that. Right? I felt like that when the way that they were playing, where they were shooting the long ball 35, 40 times a game, that's not going to get it done. The reason why they're successful now is, well, number one, their schedule has been favorable. But with their schedule being favorable, that helps them, because what that does is that builds confidence. So when they end up seeing Milwaukee, when they end up seeing Washington, or when they end up seeing better team or playoff teams, when they see Cleveland tomorrow, that's going to help them. And that's going to help Anthony Davis get back to who Anthony Davis has always been. He's always been an elite player. You can make the argument that he's a top 5 player in the game, definitely top 10. No doubt about that, definitely top 10, but top 5, arguably. And I thought that by the end of this season, the way that he was playing, before he was doing what he was doing, I said that at the end of the season, Anthony Davis, I think he'll be an all-NBA performer, and I think that he's going to be a finalist for Defensive Player of the Year. I do think that he's going to be that. So what I'm appreciative the most about what the Lakers are doing is they're playing to their strength. Russ being able to embrace the 6-man role. And the reason why the 6-man role for Russ works is simply because Russ is still playing starter minutes. Not only is Russ playing starter minutes, he's not in a traditional 6-man role. Russ is the 6th man, but he's being turned loose. It's not like he's a 6th man and, yo, Russ, you got to make sure that you get Austin Reeves involved. You got to make sure that you get Lonnie Walker shots. You got to make sure that you get this guy shots. No, he's a 6th man. He's coming off the bench, and he's being told, Russ, be Russ. You're the best second unit guard in the game, and it's not a question. You are the best. Not the best second unit guard. I take that back. Let's take it a step further than that. You're the best second unit player in the game. If Russ was in Minnesota, he'd be 20-10. If he was in Minnesota starting today, he'd be 20-10. If he was in New Orleans, because that's exactly what they're missing. New Orleans is missing a lead guard. If Russ was in New Orleans, he'd be a double-double guy. No doubt about that, if he was in New Orleans. But the fact that he's in Los Angeles and he's embraced that second unit role, and it doesn't hurt that he's playing starter minutes. So it's not like he's getting yanked in and out of the lineup. Russ knows that me coming off the bench, I'm going to play 30, 35 minutes. I'm going to play anywhere between 30 to 35 minutes. And I know that for a fact that I'm going to play that long. Well, if I know that I'm going to be out there that long, and I know that I'm going to be out there to also just be me, it's not that difficult for us to succeed. One of the things that the Lakers are doing that I really appreciate with their defense, they've been able to speed the game up. They get a lot of stuff in transition. That comes from Russ also. Lonnie Walker is one of the better athletes in the game, one of the better transition players in the game. Austin Reeves, he knocks down the long ball, but he also can shoot in the mid-range. But the difference here is Anthony Davis playing to his strengths and the Lakers playing to him. That's the difference right there. He took 2 threes last night, 2 of them. He gets himself in trouble, just like all the other bigs get themselves in trouble, when they shooting the long ball at 6, 7 times. There's no reason for you to be out there shooting that many shots. No, you are the most effective when you are playing to your strengths. You are the most effective when you play to your strengths. I thought that the Lakers were a playoff team before the season started. I thought that the way that they were playing, they looked like the worst team in the game. Anthony Davis was healthy, but they got back to playing to their strengths, which is why they look the way that they do right now. So I think that we have to get off the train of the league MVP being the best player. That's not your opinion, Purple. That's a fact. If the Lakers end up as a top seed, a 1 or 2 seed, Anthony Davis very well could be the league MVP and the defensive player of the year. That's no nonsense right there. That is not nonsense that you're talking. If they could get them to be a top seed in the West, no doubt about that. Now, I'm not going to go as far as to say that the Lakers are a top seed in the West. However, the West is wide open, man. The West is wide open, and there isn't one team that I see in the Western Conference where I'm like, yo, this team is winning it. Like, I was asked not too long ago about the Denver Nuggets. I think the Denver Nuggets could win the West. The way that they're playing, how good Joker is, how well Jamal Murray is playing off of him. I mean, Bones looks like a guy that they basically he looks like a car that's a great car, but it was in the junkyard. And everybody passed on it, and you got it, cleaned it up, and it looks fantastic. That's who Bones reminds me of. He looks great. And this Denver team looks great. Joker isn't putting up the numbers that he put up last year, and I don't expect him to do that. No, I don't expect him to put up the numbers that he put up last year. However, the way he's playing, right? The way he is playing and the way I think Jamal Murray is 18 a game in the last 10 games, and his ability to just play off the basketball, and not just play off the ball, but to play in spots and in space. And in space. And to show that, yeah, I had a season-ending injury a year and a half ago, but I'm still good. I'm still good. I'm still good. So I like what I'm seeing from Denver, but the Western Conference, I still said it. I still stand on the logic that the road to the NBA championship, it goes through Golden State. I don't think Golden State is going to be at the bottom of the league. I think that they got to show up that bench, though. But the Anthony Davis for MVP, I want to revisit this conversation in a month. I'm not ready to have Anthony Davis as the league MVP just yet. Chill out, y'all. Let's slow down. He's had a stretch. Yes, he has had a stretch. Health is the most important thing with him. So, the Lakers are rolling. They've won 8 of their last 10 games, and that's important. Anthony Davis is looking great. No doubt about that. But I just need to see him stay consistent in terms of his health. His game isn't in question for me. His game is not in question for me. I saw something about Embiid dropping 60. Hold on. I kind of scoffed over that because I was in the middle of something. Let me see if I can find that and see if I can address that real quick. Let me see if I can find that and address that real quick. Really quick. My problem is Embiid dropped a near 60, and we ain't talking about him in the MVP. Yes, we are. Yes, we still are. That's not true, my man. Yes, we still are talking about him like that. Yes, we are still talking about him like that. No doubt. That is not true, sir. Yes, we are still talking about him like that. Yo, Chill, do you think Jordan is a top 5 offensive player and a top 10 defensive player? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. He's the best scorer, and it's a difference between scorer and offensive player. Jordan is one of the he proved that in the 88-89 season with his ability to distribute. And what I think that people have to make sure that we're clear about is when you talk about being an offensive player, it's not just about scoring. It's about also getting other guys involved. I mean, he had 12 assists. Not only did he have 12 assists in that closeout game in the finals in 1991, he averaged 8 assists for an entire season. right? Averaged 8 assists for an entire season. His ability to score, I think he's at the top of the list. His ability to pass, he's one of the best, if not the best, passing two guard. His ability to get to the stripe, he shoots over 85% from the stripe. He takes real good care of the basketball as a ball handler. His ability to attract defenses and get other guys involved. So, and really quick, guys, and I hope I answered your question. Of the people that's in here right now, because this guy right here, he stays talking basketball, right? He stays talking basketball, but he talks out of the side of his mouth on the regular. So, Keyshawn, this is what I want you to tell the panel, because again, it's about you. You come in here and you make this about you. So tell us right now why Devin Booker, who's averaging 30 a game on the third best team in the NBA, is above Jason Tatum, is above Giannis. Tell us why. Tell us what he's doing more than those dudes. I'm not going to say another word. The floor is yours, sir. Tell us what he is doing more than those dudes. Go ahead. First place in the West. Forget first place in the West. If the season ended today, they're the third best team in the NBA. So once again, tell us what he is doing more than Jason Tatum and Giannis. Go ahead. We're listening. Boston is first in the conference too, and Milwaukee is second. I'm not gonna say another word. Go ahead, my man. Talk to us. The floor is yours, Keyshawn. OG, he dropped 40. He dropped 3 straight 40-point games that would have dropped 40 on the Spurs, okay, on 60%. All you're talking about is buckets. That's it. You're not talking about anything else. You're talking about buckets. That's it? So that's all he is just buckets, right? So he's playing better than Jason Tatum right now. That's what you're telling us. Damn, Giannis went 37-14 2 nights ago, and we was Jason Tatum went 29 and what? 29 and 8 last night? Why we need 5? At the end of the season, there's only 3 guys. At the end of the season, there's 3 guys that are the top 3 candidates. That's it. At the end of the season. Don't call me out, fam. Do not call me out. And you know the interesting thing about this dude is I made him a moderator, right? And he talks to me like he's an ally. No, he ain't. He's not. Keyshawn is an enemy of mine, and I'm gonna start treating him like that. I am. I'm gonna start treating you like that from now on. I swear I am. But anyway. So if we look at the landscape of the NBA, right? Right? If we look at the landscape of the NBA and we look at how good these guys have been, right? We look at how good these guys have been. The truth is, when you talk about the league MVP, winning always matters. Winning always matters. I know that people are going to say to me, right? I know that people are going to say to me that, well, Joker won it last year, so that logic goes out the window. Actually, it doesn't. And the reason why that logic doesn't go out the window is because Joker won it last year. The year before when he won it, they were third. And not only were they third, before Jamal Murray went out of the lineup, they were on their way to being a top 2 seed before he went out of the lineup. That's number 2. Russ won it in 17 as a 6 seed, right? Russ won it in 17 as a 6 seed. So that's 2 guys in the last 40 years that have won the league MVP. 2 guys that have won the league MVP on a team that has not hosted a playoff series. Winning matters. There's always an exception to this. Always. Joker last year, that was an exception. Russ in 2016, that was an exception. Was it not? I'd like to think that it was an exception. He averaged a triple-double. KD left him. The narrative was Oklahoma City was going to be garbage. And the NBA screwed that up. And the reason why the NBA screwed that up, right? The reason why the NBA screwed that up is because they recognized after Russ averaged the triple-double 3 more times, it was like, damn, I think we screwed this up because we can't give him, right? We can't give him the league MVP 3 more times. That's what we basically basing it on. So they realized that they screwed that up. With that being said, Joker last year, Joker basically had the same season that Jabbar had in 76, where he basically led the NBA in every category. He basically led the NBA in every category. PER, offensive win shares, defensive win shares. He was in the top 3 in the league in rebounding. He was in the top 10 in the league in scoring. He was in the top 5 in the, I think top 5, either top 5 or top 6 in the league, top 5 or top 6 in the league in assists. So that's an anomaly. This kind of stuff doesn't happen all the time. For the most part, when you get a league MVP, you're getting a guy who's on a team that's winning. The reason why I had such a difficult time with giving the league MVP to Joker or giving the league MVP to Russ, who both of those guys, their teams were 6 seeds. The reason why I had a difficult time with that is because I rewound the clock back to the 88-89 season. When I answered your question about Jordan, right? When I answered your question about Jordan being the playmaker and the offensive player that he was, he went 33-8-8 that year. Not only did he go 33-8-8, that was the furthest that the Bulls had ever gone with him in the lineup. That was the furthest that they had gone. They finished 6th that year. Jay didn't sniff the league MVP. Magic won it going away. It wasn't close. I think Jay got in the 88-89 season, I think Jay got 2 or 3 first place votes, something like that. I think he got 2 or 3 first place votes, something like that. I'm not totally sure, but what I do know is that I thought he had a better season that year than he did the year he actually won it in 87-88. I thought he had a better season, right? So winning does matter. Winning matters every day and twice on Sunday. When you have a guy who wins the league MVP, like Joker did, like Russ did, that's an anomaly. For the most part, these guys that win the league, these guys that win league MVP, they're on winning teams. Winning teams. Mm-hmm. You think Magic deserved it that year? Yeah. Yeah. What are you basing that on? And I think that you basing that on the fact that the Lakers won. Yeah, the Lakers. I think they was at the and that's exactly my point. I think they were at the top of the Western Conference. No doubt about it. Jay didn't sniff the league MVP that year. He didn't sniff it. Didn't sniff it. The Lakers were at the top of the Western Conference. No doubt about it. So now the difference with James in 2018 was that roster got flipped twice. It didn't get flipped once. It got flipped twice. And you could make the argument, right? You could very well make the argument that during that season that James should have won the league MVP. Now it's hard to look past James Harden and what he did. I mean, the Houston Rockets won 65 games that year, right? The Houston Rockets won 65 games that year, and not only did they win 65 games, he was the catalyst, right? He was the engine. He didn't play on the defensive side of the ball, but they were a team. Excuse me, they were a team that was primarily up tempo, and they weren't really looking to stop nobody. They weren't. So I'm not surprised that James Harden won it because he was at the top of the West, and that's the point that we make here when we talk about winning matters. Winning absolutely matters. Winning this isn't a situation where winning doesn't matter. So definitely. No, I didn't look at your comment on Kobe. No, I did not. What was your comment on Kobe? No, Dre. It's actually flipped around, and I'm glad you brought that up. Because the year Malone won it in 97, Jordan should have won it. And the year Jordan won it in 98, Malone should have won it. Those two got actually flipped around. Those are the 2 years that when you talk about he didn't get robbed, it's just that it should have gotten flipped around more than anything. So I do think that Derrick Rose, even though I thought James was the league MVP, I didn't have a problem giving it to Derrick Rose. Considering I didn't have a problem giving it to Derrick Rose, considering what he did. They had the best record in the league. Not only did they have the best record in the league, I think he went 25-8 that year. Carlos Boozer, Luol Deng, Joakim Noah. I mean, Boozer was definitely a second option, and Luol Deng was a third option. He had a 19-a-game guy and a 17-a-game guy, so it wasn't like he was playing with bums. He was playing with some good players, and Joakim Noah was turning into that guy as a defender, right? He was definitely turning into that guy as a defender. So they were one of the better defensive teams in the game. They were one of the better. They were overall. I think they were the best team in the Eastern Conference. No question about that. I don't think that. I thought James was the league MVP, but it's a difference between being the league MVP once and being the best player in the league. And I thought James was the best player in the league in 2011. And that would have been 5 in a row, by the way, had he won the league MVP that year. I don't think that we're going to see I don't think that we're going to see a league MVP where a guy finishes outside the top 3 again. I don't think we're going to see that. I don't. Because when and the reason why I say that is because it's hard to justify. It's very for me, it's very difficult to justify a guy who is on a 6th place team. You're more valuable to your team's success than a guy who's on a 3rd place team or a 2nd place team or a 1st place team. I'm having a difficult time with you selling me the logic of a guy. I'm having a difficult time with you selling me on the logic of a guy that's averaging 30 a game on a 7th place team. That's or not just 30 a game, or a guy defensively, he's awesome on a 6th or 7th place team. He's more valuable to a guy who's averaging, I don't know, 2 or 3 more less points and who's just as good defensively on a 3rd place team or on a 2nd place team. If we're gonna go off the fact that it's just the best player, then just do that. But don't tell me that this guy on a 7th place team is more valuable to his team's success than a guy on a third-place team, on a second-place team. You can't sell me that. No. Jimmy, and that's an anomaly. That is an anomaly. No doubt about that. That's an anomaly. He went 32. I think he went 32-10. So you're telling me that Russell Westbrook going 32-10 and 11 is more valuable than what James was doing in Cleveland? That's what you're telling me. On a sixth-place team, as opposed to a first-place team or a second-place team. No, it's not. Just because you're playing better, it's not this. No, it's not. And you just want to argue, Diaby. That's all. You just want to argue. Your shit is corny. You just want to argue. No, it's not. Because if you're a sixth-place team, what I'm doing on a second-place team what up, Ticket? If you're on a sixth-place team, what I'm doing on a second-place team with similar talent does not make you more valuable. It doesn't. If you just want to go off the logic that you want the best player to win it, I got no problem with that. As a matter of fact, let's take winning off the table. But we got to take winning off the table all across the board. We got to take winning off the table all across the board, and we're going to do like they do in baseball. They don't care in baseball. In baseball, it's the best team. It's the best player in the game. I don't care if you play for the Colorado Rockies, who are in third place in the NL West, or you play for the New York Yankees, that's in first place. It's the best player in the league. No question about it. In football, it's the best player on the best team. If we're going to do that, right? If we're going to do that, then let's take that off the table. Let's do that. Let's take that straight. Let's straight take that off the table. And I'm cool with that. I got no problem with that whatsoever. None. If that's what it's going to be. I'm good with that. Sure. I got no problem with that. No problem. Mm-hmm. Yep. I don't know. I don't know when fans ever voted. They never voted, Jimmy. So I don't think that they've ever voted. Fans have never voted. What year do I think LeBron deserved the league MVP? Let's see. Let's take it a step back. So the 16-17 season, the 14-15 season, the 13-14 season when KD won it, I'm cool with that. I got no problem with that. The 14-15 season when Steph won it, 67 wins, had one of the best seasons. Excuse me, the 15-16 season when he won it unanimously. I'm cool with that. Yeah, I take no issue with that. No issue with that whatsoever. Unanimous, I got an issue with that, but I don't have a problem with him winning it. But unanimous, I do have a problem with that, considering Cleveland was at the top of the Eastern Conference, and that was on the strength of James. That was on the strength of James. There was not a player in the league that averaged that many points, that many assists, and that many rebounds. There wasn't. So with that being said, right, let's see, 16-17, I have a problem with the fact that they gave it to Russ. They gave it to Russ off the strength of him averaging a triple-double and the narrative behind it. And the reason why that was a problem was because he ended up averaging a triple-double 3 more times. So if that's true, then he should have won it 3 more times. the 17-18 season, the 17-18 season, Cleveland was bad. That roster had gotten flipped twice, right? That roster had gotten flipped twice. Not only did that roster get flipped twice, he still managed to drag that team, right? He still managed to drag that team to a 4 seed. We're talking about throughout the course of that season, 12 new players. He got hurt in 18-19. Had COVID not shut the season down, right? Had COVID not shut the season down in 19-20, he would have won the league MVP that year. They were on their way to winning 60 games. In the process of them on their way to winning 60 games, he was 25-10, led the league in assists. He had outplayed Giannis. Not only did he outplay Giannis, he was better. Now, he wasn't better defensively than Giannis, but he was great defensively. So if I'm looking at from 2013 to 2020, those 7 years, hey, Ticket, good to see you, brother. I'll see you soon. I'm sorry I didn't get an opportunity to yak with you. I'm dealing with these other dudes, but it's a lot of people in here. I apologize. Go check out Ticket TV. If you guys don't know, if you guys aren't aware, Ticket TV is on YouTube and it's a big deal. 27, like I said, 2020, if he doesn't get, if they don't shut the season down, I think that he wins the league MVP that year. And I'm having a difficult time with from 2013 to 2022. This dude hasn't seen a league MVP in 10 years. That is nuts to me. Yeah. He was declining in 20. Actually, take it a step further than that. Not 2020. Rewind the clock, right? Rewind the clock back to 2019. That's when he started breaking down. As good as he was, he started breaking down during that time. That's when he started breaking down. Keyshawn, I just said 2020. That's when I said that he should have won the league MVP. If COVID hadn't shut the season down, he would have won it. And goofball. He hasn't. No, he has not won. No, he has not won a league MVP. Me neither, Labs. Because, like I said, I got an issue with if we're gonna listen, if we're gonna go off of just the guy, if we're gonna take wins off the table, then that's what's up. I got no issue with that. But if winning matters, if you are a 5, 6, 7 seed, you are not more valuable than a guy who's a 3rd seed or a 2nd seed. You're not. He hasn't been good enough for what? I don't have any predictions for Victor's career. If you've seen my take on Victor Wembanyama, I think he's the future of basketball. Him, guys like Bol. Health is the key here. More than anything, health is the key. That's it more than anything. Health is the key. If you can stay healthy, if these guys can stay healthy, I think this is I think this is what the NBA is going to be looking like. I think this is what the NBA is going to look like. No doubt about that. No doubt. Mm-hmm. I don't think the Trailblazers are as legit as people are trying to sell me. And the reason why I say that is because I watched Utah expose them. And they have no rim protection, none. No rim protection at all. And what they do is they mask it with gang rebounding. But I also think that they're gonna run up on some teams that are bigger and that are more skilled, and that's gonna give them trouble, like Phoenix, like the Warriors. These teams are gonna give them hell because they don't have anybody to rim protect. They don't have anybody to rebound. I mean, I watched Josh Howard go for, not Josh Howard, I'm sorry. I watched Jason Hart. He had 15 rebounds. This your two guard. He had 15 rebounds. Where are my big guys at? Where are my big guys in Portland? So when I think about the Trailblazers, I don't think that they're a fluke, right? I don't think that they're a fluke. I do, however, think they're an early out. I had them making the playoffs before the season started. I thought that they were a play-in team. As of right now, I think that they stand in the top. As of right now, I think that they stand in the top three. I don't know if they're a top 3 seed moving forward. I don't know if Dame's going to hold up. I'm not sure if Dame's going to hold up because Dame is starting to break down, right? Dame is starting to break down. So in the process of Dame starting to break down, I mean, this team, as good as they are, I mean, they're coming back to earth. I mean, I don't know where Portland is. I think they fell out the top 5 if they're not a top 5 seed. So I'm not sure. Yes, money, no doubt. Who he looks like to me, Simons looks to me like a better version of CJ. That's who he looks like to me. He looks like a better version of CJ. And I dig it. I absolutely dig it. I kind of got sucked into the, Dame if he's trying to win, Dame needs to get out of there. This team isn't built to win a championship. And I still feel like, I mean, what is Jeremy Grant going to give you? Is Jeremy Grant is he going to push you over the top when you get to the playoffs? Is he the guy that's going to get you? Because Dame could get us to the playoffs. Dame being healthy, he could get us to the playoffs. So the question is do we have another guy that can push us past the first round? Do we have another guy who can do that? Because Dame could get us there. Can we get another guy that can get on Dame, Dame could get on his back and that can get us past the first round? That's going to be tough, man. That's going to be super tough. But I think that what they're doing in Portland in terms of developing their guard play, because that kid Sharp looks like he's going to be a star. He looks like that. That's why I'm sure that there have been teams that have called the Trailblazers about him. And I'm sure that the Trailblazers ain't interested. Just like there were teams that called about Simons and the Trailblazers was like, no, there's no way we're going to build this guy up to hand him over to you. No, we're not doing that. Absolutely not. We're not doing that. No way. Nope. So there are some teams that there are some teams right now that are looking better, but I think, again, this is the first week of December. I think in another month, by the time we get to the All-Star break, we are going to be having a completely different conversation about these guys. 100% completely different conversation about these guys. No doubt. He looks like the real deal. I'm disappointed in RJ Barrett, Keats. And the reason why I'm disappointed in RJ Barrett is because I saw what he did last year. He started off slow, right? And in the process of him starting slow, he ended up after December, after the first week of December, I think he was averaging 22 and 7. And he was looking like a guy that I'm saying to myself, yo, this is a dude we could build our unit around. Only except this season, he hasn't taken that step. He has not taken that step, and I'm starting to question whether or not is he that guy. What up, Double Tech? How you doing, brother? I'm not sure if he's the guy that we can build this thing around. And the reason why I'm saying that is because when you have a franchise player, he gives you your identity. Prime example would be they've singled out Jason Tatum as their guy. Marcus Smart is the floor leader, right? Marcus Smart is the floor leader. Jaylen Brown is the other scorer, but for the most part, Jason Tatum is your guy. He's the guy that we run the offense through. He's the guy who is going to be our playmaker. He's the guy who, if we could get this guy to play better, not just defensively, but if we can get him to play better off the basketball, if we could get him to play better in the mid-range, I think we're having a different conversation about him in terms of best players in the league. I already felt like that about him being in the league MVP conversation a year ago. Once he puts that in between in his game, once he puts that in between in his game, we're already having an MVP conversation. Once he puts that in between in his game consistently, we're going to have a conversation about him being the best player in the game. We're going to do that. And that gap is already closing between him and Luka. So when you get a franchise player, once you do that, now we have an identity, right? Now we have a guy that, okay, this is who we are, right? This is absolutely who we are. So because of that, you get to move forward. But I don't know who the Knicks are. I don't know who the Knicks are. And the reason why I don't know who they are is because we haven't established who their franchise player is. 1 minute, RJ looks like he's that dude. And then Brunson shows up, and Brunson looks like he could be their lead guard. Julius Randle looks to me like he's a steady 19 and 10, but he's not our franchise player. So we haven't figured out who the guy is. At least in Toronto, they're starting to move toward Scotty Barnes being that guy. They're starting to move toward that. As good as OG is, and OG is one of those guys who I think he's an important piece to what you're doing. I actually think that OG is going to make the All-Star team this year, to be honest with you. I think that he's one of those guys. I think he's one of those guys. So we all know that Siakam is the guy on that team. We all know that. But I think that they're going to start moving toward Scotty Barnes at some point. No question about it. I think they're going to start moving towards Scotty Barnes at some point. Siakam is definitely the guy on that team. He's there, or he's a top 15, top 20 player. He's the guy that they run the offense through. He's the guy that they go to for buckets and the meat and potatoes of the game. He's their best player. I think that eventually they're going to move towards Scotty Barnes. Eventually. Not now, but eventually. I think that they're going to move towards Scotty Barnes. I think OG Anunoby is he's one of the steadiest guys that they have. And with what Toronto was doing this season, just as an overall unit, I think he's going to be in the conversation to be an all-star. No doubt about that. I did hear about Leonard and Paul George coming back tonight. I'm interested to see that. What I would like, though, is I'd like for these guys to play more, then we can get a better feel for them. I've already made it clear, just like Brooklyn. I feel the same way. I feel the same way. The way I feel about Brooklyn, that's the way I feel about the Clippers. I'm out. I'm straight. I'm good. And I'm good solely off the fact that you guys can't stay healthy. There's your difference right there. You guys can't stay healthy. So if you guys could stay healthy, then I think we're having a different conversation. Yo. Hang on for a second. 1 second. All right, so again, this is what I want to do because I got some time, right? I got time today. Let me address Mr. Diaby because Mr. Diaby, he wants it with me. Let's talk, Mr. Diaby. So you believe in the Lakers. Wait a minute. Don't put words in my mouth. Anybody in here, of the 103 people in here, who in here heard me say that I believe in the Lakers? Go. I'm listening. Raise your hand. Anybody in here who said that that heard me say I believe in the Lakers? Go ahead. Don't think. No. When you talk to me in fact. Because when you think, what you do is you turn it into something else. And that's how people end up getting themselves tripped up by doing stuff like that. What they do is they hear stuff and then they put words in other people's mouths. And in the process of them putting words in other people's mouths, they turn the conversation into something else. Yeah, I got the game on right now. Yeah, I got the game on right now. So once again, no, I do not believe in the Clippers, and the reason why I don't believe in the Clippers is because of injury. And because those guys have not been healthy, which is the exact same reason why I don't believe in the Brooklyn Nets. Because over the last 3 years, what I've seen from Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant gives me no reason to believe in those dudes. Period. None. And we've had the conversation. Not only did we have the conversation, I brought it up to you guys. Now, I got some new people in here who I don't know, but I got some new people in here. So I'll pose the question again. Are Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, who Kawhi Leonard and Paul George were supposed to be, are those two guys what these two guys should have been? I'm posing the question to you. Mitchell and Gobert. To some extent. What do you mean to some extent, Joshua? Now, remember, but now, when you answer this question, I don't want you to answer this question as two players individually. We're talking about as a duo here. Both Brown and Tatum as a duo, not Brown and Paul George or Brown or Leonard and Tatum. I'm talking about these guys as a duo. That's what I'm talking about. I got the Bucks winning the NBA championship this year, Woozy. Then yes. $100%. And what has what has derailed them, Jalen? What has screwed them up? So if injuries are what screws, if injuries are what screwed them up, and not only did injuries screw them up, this was a pattern, right? Why am I out of line for wanting out, or is this something that I should? Is this something that I should stay on? Is this a train I should stay on? because just so you guys know, and I'm sure you, and just so you guys know, so we clear, right? Just so you guys know, both Kawhi Leonard and Paul George have played less games than Anthony Davis. I just want to put that on your mind. Adobe, you still haven't, Diaby, you still haven't told me why I'm out of line. Tell everybody in here, because I'm not going to talk to anybody else. I'm talking to you, Diaby. Why am I out of line for wanting to be out on this Clipper team? When I'm out on Brooklyn and I'm giving the logic, why am I out of line? Go ahead. This is what I'm gonna do. You're gonna have the floor. I thought you were talking to me. Mm-hmm. Nope. I can flip, Tyrone, I can flip that question right back around to you. There isn't a team that I can say confidently that they can beat in a 7-game series. There isn't one team, just like you said, because the Western Conference is so wide open, right? The Western Conference is so wide open. There isn't one team where I can say, yo, the Lakers can beat them. The Lakers can beat them. The Lakers can beat them. There isn't one team that I can look at in the Western Conference race and go, all right, the Lakers can beat them. All right, the Lakers can beat them. So when I look at the top of the Western Conference, I can't say with 100% certainty any of those teams. Any of them. I probably said that before the season started, that the Lakers could beat the Nuggets. I'm not sure if they could beat them now. A lot has happened since then. They are rolling. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. They are absolutely rolling. That part I can't fight. Yes, they are. Can they beat New Orleans 4 times in a week? Can New Orleans beat them 4 times in a week? Yeah. I saw New Orleans take the Phoenix Suns, who won 65 games, to 6 games. So and that was right when the season started. Okay, so their first regular season game. So that was when the season started. This is year 5 for De'Aaron Fox. He in his 5? Yeah, he came in with Bam. Is it 5 or 6? No, you're not. You're not the Suns. That's a fact. That is a fact. That is an absolute fact. Because he came, like I said, he came in with Bam. So, okay, Keyshawn, I said that. So make sure that you let everybody know. I said that the Lakers could beat the Nuggets after they won their first game and they lost their first 5 games. I said that. People in the chat. Keyshawn has tripped me up. I said that the Lakers could beat the Nuggets in the first game of the season, even after they lost their first 5. I said that. I was wrong. So Keyshawn has tripped me up. Announcement. Once again, I said that the Lakers could beat the Denver Nuggets in the first game. Even though I said that. Keyshawn has tripped me up. I don't know why Keyshawn doesn't have his own show. I don't. I really don't. Diaby, you don't get to hold me accountable because you talk nonsense. Don't talk that shit to me about holding me accountable, motherfucker. Y'all make me sick with that shit. Y'all come into my live, you too come into my live. You don't get to hold me accountable because you don't know the game the way I know the game. You just run your mouth. And you'll try to trip me up with bullshit, like stuff that I said a month ago or stuff that I said six months ago. You and this dude in particular, both of you guys, y'all make me sick. Both of you dudes make me sick to my damn stomach. Both of you. I'm sick of both of y'all dudes. Not just you, him too. I'm sick of both of y'all. Because you dudes think you know basketball and you don't. All you do is come in here, well, wait a minute, you said this. When anytime your logic, anytime you guys talk, this is the same Keyshawn who told me, yo, OG, you see the Utah Jazz? Whoa, OG, yo, you see the Utah Jazz? I'm telling you, OG, the Utah Jazz making the playoffs. I ain't say a word about that. I didn't. I ain't say a word about that. I did not say one word about that. And it wasn't even about the Jazz. And you know why? Because this was a year ago that I got on this thing. And Keyshawn, right? Keyshawn has been on my live. You know how many times I've heard Keyshawn talk about the Utah Jazz? These many. These many times I heard him talk about the Utah Jazz. These many. It's more about me being wrong. It's more about me being wrong than him actually talking basketball. Because what it does is when he tries to trip me up, the one time he tries to trip me up, he feels like it validates him and his basketball knowledge. When it's like you say something to somebody and you go, well, wait a minute, you said this last week. Even though whenever you talk about basketball, there is no legit logic behind anything that you say. Nothing. You're more concerned with proving this person wrong in terms of tripping them up on what they said. Nothing else. Nothing else. So you dudes and Diaby and holding me accountable, you don't get to hold me accountable. You know why? Because you scared to come on this stage. You're the dude that screams from the back of the audience. That's you. But you won't come up to the microphone. That's what you dudes are. And then when I get on your ass, the first thing you say to me is, well, I didn't say anything. I don't know why you mad at me. If you come into the show, you got two choices. Come to the front of the line, step to the microphone, or be the hell quiet. Or number three, get out, man. That's simple. Get out. You dudes make me sick with that shit. I swear you do. Y'all dudes make me sick when y'all come into my live with that. Y'all make me sick. I wish you would come to the show, Diaby, whatever the hell your name is. Whatever show you want to get on. Come to the show and I'll eat your lunch. I bet you. And you was on the show and I'm glad, hey, we put Keyshawn on the show a week ago. And you know what Keyshawn did? Keyshawn was in my live because Keyshawn is another one. Keyshawn, he won't get his own thing. What he'll do is he'll come to your show and throw rocks and he'll throw cans. So he comes to my show, right? This is what he did. He came to my show and we were talking about Draymond Green being a top 15 defender. And he named 15 defenders. And I wasn't sure about Leonard and Dikembe Mutombo. He turned this into a completely different conversation. He didn't turn this into anything else about this dude about Draymond being a top 15 defender. What this was about was something completely different. Completely different. I wish you would. So Diaby, this is what you do. This is what I want you to do. Diaby, however old you are, you 15-year-old or whatever you are, this is what I'd like for you to do. Get in touch. Go to Player's Choice on TikTok. Get in the DMs, right? Get in the DMs, and not only get in the DMs, ask Shaq, tell him that I sent you, and see if he could get you on the show. Or the next week, or this week when we have our show, Tone is going to have the link. And it's important for you because you think you know more than me, and you want to battle me. You want to battle me. Make sure that you bring it. Make sure that you bring it. And I'm gonna mention to Tone if you come on our show. I'm gonna mention to him that, yo, see if you could get this dude on, because you are convinced that you want it with me. You think you do, you don't. Oh, absolutely. I'll make sure that I'll be waiting for you, Diaby, whatever the hell your name is. Bring it. You think you do. Well, you don't have to say that. I'm saying it to you. You holding me accountable. This is your job. So I'll tell you what. Come to the front of the stage. This is how we get. You want to hold me accountable? Come to the front of the stage. That's how we get to the bottom of that. You ain't got to wait on me. I'll be there. You ain't got to wait on me, fam. I'm not scared of you. I'm not afraid of you. You in particular, you? Absolutely not. I'm not scared of you. You ain't doing your job. I'm doing my job. And you know what my job is? My job is to talk basketball with people. People come into my live, right? And we talk basketball. That's my job. That's what I do. People come into my live and we talk basketball. We talk about how good this guy is. We talk about, be the fuck quiet. I ain't talking to you right now. We talk basketball. I talk about how this guy is. I talk about how that guy is. I don't come here. I do not come here to, quote unquote, be held accountable. This is no different than me. This is no different than me standing in a group of people and we talking basketball. And then you coming in here and going, yo, he said this. Yo, he said that. Well, I tell you what, my man, I did say that. And in the process of me saying that, come trip me up. In the process of me saying that, you know more than I do, or you holding me accountable, come get it. I'm good on these dudes, yo. I am. I'm straight on these dudes. Hold on. Yo, what? Oh, there it is. I'm straight on these dudes. I'm out. I'm good on them. Hey, that right there, Cody. Shea or Lauri Markkanen? I thought it was going to be Shea. I thought it was going to be Sexton, because I thought Utah was going to be. I thought Utah was going to be really bad. I did. I thought they were going to be at the bottom of the Western Conference, and I thought that they were going to. I thought they were just going to get a ball to Sexton, and in the process of them giving the ball to Sexton, I just thought that they were going to just turn him loose. And we've seen guys in the league, right? We've seen guys in the league. Just because you're on a bad team does not mean that you can't win Most Improved. Prime example, last year. I mean, not last year. I mean, we've had guys win Most Improved. What's his name was up for it. DeJounte Murray was up for it last year. And San Antonio was at the bottom of the – San Antonio was in a play-in tournament. So we've seen guys on bad teams win it. That wouldn't surprise me at all. I don't think Bol is playing better than Markkanen. I don't think Bol is playing better than Shea. I don't think so. So yep. Yeah, Ja won it last year. I'm tripping. Yeah, Ja won it last year. I think he gave it to Desmond Mason. I remember that. Desmond Bain, not Desmond Mason. Desmond Bain. Yeah, Ja won it last year. right behind Murray. So the team that I'm the most disappointed in, SB, I was the most disappointed in the Lakers for a while. I was. I thought they were the worst team in the league, yo. With the collection of talent that they had and how they were together and what they were doing, I thought it was the Lakers. And they turned it around. They absolutely turned it around. The team that I am really disappointed in is the Clippers. It's the Clippers. Because Leonard and Paul George, the reason why you guys got together, right? The reason why the Clippers gave up all them picks for you, the reason why Leonard came to the Clippers was for you guys to be what Boston is becoming. That's why. So, like, see, this is what I'm talking about. OG, the Clippers are 500. So what? Kawhi Leonard has played 3 games. I can't be disappointed in a guy who's played, 5 games? I can't be disappointed in that? What the hell is... Can somebody explain to me what disappointed means? Can somebody in here explain to me what disappointed means? So I'm clear. Maybe I don't know what it is. Maybe one of you guys in here can explain to me what does disappointed mean, guys? So you have high expectations, right? So you have high expectations. So with Kawhi Leonard and Paul George coming in healthy, right? With Kawhi Leonard and Paul George coming in healthy, I thought that this team, I had them as a top 5 seed. And the fact that the Clippers have not had their 2 best players available, I shouldn't be disappointed about that. Even though the Clippers are playing 500 basketball, I shouldn't be disappointed about that. I'm so over you dudes. I swear. I'm so over you dudes. I wish that I'm just over you dudes. I just am. I am. I'm really over you dudes. I am. I can't be more over you guys than I am. I can't. Of all the guys that come into my live, I'm over you dudes. I really am. It's incredible how over you dudes I am. I just am. They were, Eric. I had them as a top 5 seed before the season started. I think I had them behind Denver at 4. Yeah, I had them behind Denver at 4, and I thought that they were going to make some noise, not knowing that, Leonard, this knee is way worse, right? This knee is way worse than what we thought, even though he showed us, that this was happening. He showed us that he was breaking down. Paul George too showed us that he was breaking down. So if I had to guess off the top of my head to answer your question, right? To answer your question, there was 2 teams. I thought that the Clippers, and I'm very disappointed in the Minnesota Timberwolves. I thought that they were going to be better. I had the Minnesota Timberwolves as a top 5 seed. And their guard play has disappointed tremendously. Yes, it has. It has disappointed tremendously. I'm not out on Minnesota. Nah. I'm not out on Minnesota, but I'm very disappointed in them. Very much so. And I was surprised. I was expecting a lot from them in terms of guard play. I thought D'Angelo Russell was going to be better. Cat was going to be better, considering now you got that man in the paint, right? You got that man in the paint who can rebound, who can rim protect, who is an interior defender that you didn't have last year. So now you guys should be better, only except you weren't. You have not been. And because you haven't been, I'm disappointed in Minnesota and the Clippers more than anything. Nobody really in the East. Yeah, not too many teams in the East. Nah, not too many teams in the East. But the Clippers and Minnesota in the West more than anything. So I got to change my I'm changing my moderators. I'm doing that soon. I need some new moderators. So it's about that time for me, guys. I'm going to catch you guys. What's today? Monday? I should be back Wednesday night. Yeah, I should be back Wednesday night. But I'll see you guys soon. You guys know where to find me at. Until then, take it light, but take it.